Hi guys, you're going to love today's lesson because you have used a lot of it in the past. The thing that will be a little new to you is leaving your answers in pi and or changing them to the decimal versions. And we'll try to show you a little of both. So our I can statement is that we're going to be able to use formulas and other given information. That's going to be the biggie. That might be a little different, one thing, to find volume and area of shapes. You've seen most of these shapes before, so we're just going to see what you know. Coming up are your formulas. Here they all are. You do need to copy them. You can also copy these onto your cheat sheet if you want to use it on a test. They will not be given to you or written on the board. So if you want them for the test, you need to write them down on your cheat sheet. Probably do that now. On the cheat sheet, you could also draw a picture of that shape if you'd like to go along with it. The other thing I would add is please don't forget area is in square units, because you do want to answer in the appropriate units. And volume is always to the third power, that's in cubed units. So please take the time to copy all of this. And here we go. Let's find the volume of these shapes. This is a pyramid, so look at your pyramid formula. It is 1/3 times big B H. And all that, of course, is times each other. You need to understand, if you've not done one of these in the past, and I think you probably have, big B stands for the area of the bottom shape. And the bottom is called the base. So that's what big B stands for, is the base shape. So the first thing you should do is find that, write it out to the side, list your height also, and then plug things in. The height is 7 meters. Big B is, in this case, is a rectangle shape, and to find the area of a rectangle, you would go 10 times 9. Length times width, 90 meters squared, because that's area. And now let's put it into our formula. 1/3 times big B times H. I would definitely do some cross reducing. Make your life easier, and then you might not even need a calculator. The answer will come for me on the top comes from 30 times 7, which is 210, and 1 times 1 times 1 on the bottom. So 210, and it is volume, it is in cubic meters. And if you're not sure of why, it's because this was meters squared and this was meters to the first. Put them together, you have cubic meters. Let's look at picture 2. This is a sphere. So please copy your formula from the previous page where you have them all. Now this will have pi in the answer, so I'll try to show you both. All we need to write down is R, and we're ready to roll. But do be careful. Is R given in this one? It is not. R is not 18. 18 is a diameter, so R is half of that. You've got to be very careful, but that's not anything you can't handle. So the formula is 4/3 times pi times 9 to the third. 4/3 times pi. You can put a 1 under that if you'd like. 9 to the third is 729. I would probably go ahead and type that in and write it down, or you can just type it as you go. You can go straight across the top, straight across the bottom. If you do that, I don't think I reduced this time. You should end up with 972 pi. That's cubic meters. You can totally leave your answer in terms of pi. That saves you a step. But if you want to type the pi button, make sure you don't type 3.14, type times the pi button. Your decimal answer of this would be that right there. So please check that if that's what you want to do. Go to decimal. Some teachers may require you to stay in radians, which means in pi. Some may say decimals. Okay, the first one in example 2 is still finding volume, this time of a cylinder. So I've already written my formula down. All we need is R and H, and we're ready to roll. This answer will have a pi in it, or you can give the decimal version. R is given. It's a radius of 5 meters. The height is also given, and don't get confused that they're both 5. Let's plug in pi times R squared times H. It's not showing up too well, so let's change colors. This is a 25. 25 times 5, or you can type straight in, is 125. You can leave that pi symbol sitting there. Just get your cubic units, and you can be done. Or you can give the decimal version. Number 4 here. This is a cone. Write your formula, 1/3 pi r squared h. So it's just like the cylinder formula, except for you only take 1/3 of it. So we need an r, we need an h, and we're ready to roll. All right, notice that r is 6, not 12, and then the height of the cone is 12. So let's plug in. Volume is 1/3 times pi times r squared, 6 squared. If you want to go ahead and write 36 there, you totally could, times 12. Do the math and either divide by 3 at the end or keep up with the top and the bottom as you're multiplying across your fractions. You should get 144 pi. Again, this is volume, so cubic kilometers, or kilometers to the third. Do you get it? Okay, let's look at example 3. Find the area. The first problem, number 2, is super easy. Excuse me, it's not number 2, I don't guess, but the first of the 2 problems is super easy. That's like 4th or 5th grade. So let's tackle that one and find the area of the circle. So there's our area formula. All we need is the radius to start plugging in. Radius is 5. This is elementary school, guys. You can just leave the pi even. Pi times 5 squared. The answer is 25 pi. Yards, and it's area, so it needs to be squared. And you can give me the decimal version if you like, but you can also stop right there. Now, the second problem here is the one everybody thinks is hard, but it's not. The question is still find the area. So we are still after this, pi r squared. Problem is we do not have r. All they've given us is circumference, which is big C. So go check your circumference formula. I'm going to write the version that uses r, and let's write out what we have. We know that the circumference is 12.6, 2 pi r. And we can divide by 2 and the pi button, and then we would be able to find r. And once you do that, then you go back over here and plug in r. So let's set that up. If the circumference is 12.6, we'll have 12.6. Let's divide out the 2 and divide out the pi. Divide this by 2 pi. Now you do have to use the pi button here so that you get an actual number. So please type in 12.6 divided by, and parentheses are a good idea here, 2 times pi. When you do that, r should turn out to be approximately 2.0-ish, but if we round to even a tenth, I believe it's 2.0. So I'm going with that for my r value. Once you know an r value, then all you do is go back to your area formula, just like over here, and it's a simple problem. So the area will be pi times r squared. This answer is simply 4 pi. Now that is rounded. This is in feet, so it's in square feet since we found area. Done with that one. Okay, last example. Note, I've already circled. This time they're asking us to find the circumference. So once again, the first one is a simple elementary school type problem of finding the circumference. The second one, we have to take the given information to find the r that we need to use to find area. So, to find circumference. Circumference is 2 pi r. In this problem, r equals 9, so we are ready to roll. Circumference will be 2 times pi times 9. Nothing hard at all here. 18 pi. This is in miles. And it's circumference, so it's the first power of the units, because it's just a length. It's not squared or cubed. Now, let's do this one over here. The question again, remember, is still find circumference. So this is the formula we'll want to end up using, but the problem is they didn't give us r, the one thing we need, but instead they gave us the area. So what you do is write down your area formula of a circle, and you write in the 16.6 as the answer. So 16.6 equals pi r squared. Now you got to think with me on this, and let's make sure we're doing everything right. Let's divide by pi first, because we're trying to solve for r. So if you use your pi button, 16.6 divided by pi, you should have a rounded answer of this. Sorry, that's a 5. That doesn't look too good. 5.28. And then please think with me for a second. If you have r squared equals 5.28 and you need r, then you simply square root both sides. R should be approximately 1.4. Now, you had to do that work so that you can come back over here and plug in r. Let's do that now. Find the circumference of the circle now that we know r. 2 times pi times 1.4, and we'll be done. 2 times 1.4 is 2.8. You can leave your pi there, or since it is a decimal, you should probably change it to the decimal version because you don't really like to mix pi's and decimals. So the total circumference should be 8.8, and we are in meters, and that is just a length, so it's not squared or cubed. Okay, that's it, guys. Please make sure you know your stuff. Please make sure you've filled out your cheat sheet because those formulas will not be given to you on test or quiz day. And please be getting your help now. Don't wait until test day to say, I don't get it. Hope you have a great one.